Point of order sprouting up all over the place. Point of order, Diana R. Johnson.
Mr. Speaker, is it in order that the Parliamentary Under Secretary of State for Health promised to publish a review on contaminated blood products before the end of the year has not happened? And my constituent, Mr. Glenn Wilkinson, has contacted me in the last hour. He is extremely angry that a group who have suffered so much have been let down again. Can I ask you, Mr. Speaker, whether you would look into this matter?
Nothing disorderly has occurred. The Honourable Lady is dissatisfied, but that's a different matter, and she's registered that dissatisfaction, and it will have been heard. Point of order, Mr. Jim Fitzpatrick.
On a point of order, Mr. Speaker, in respect of David Quarmby's report entitled "The Resilience of England's Transport Systems in Winter," on the 2nd of December during Transport Topical Questions, the Secretary of State for Transport told this House at column 953 of the official report, quote, "The findings and recommendations of the review have been implemented, and I have asked David Quarmby to come back and audit their implementation." Yesterday, the Transport Secretary told this House during his statement on severe winter weather at column 1216 of the official report, quote, "Many of the recommendations have already been implemented, although some will take necessarily longer." Mr. Speaker, both of these statements cannot be accurate. Have you received any request from the Secretary of State for Transport to correct the record, given that ministers have an absolute obligation to tell the truth to this House, and if not, would now be a timely moment for you to reinforce once again to ministers that they must correct the record when they get things wrong, even if they do so inadvertently, sir?
I have received no such request from a minister to make a statement. What has just been said about the importance of accurate statements to the House is true. If there is inaccuracy, it should be corrected. I hope the honourable gentleman will understand that I am unsighted on the matter and not in a position to act as adjudicator. The point has been made, the point has been heard. Point of order, Dr. Julian Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Those of us who've been worried about the future of the nuclear deterrent in light of some government decisions will have been heartened by today's report in the Daily Telegraph that at least one cabinet minister has access to nuclear weapons. Has he received any notice from any member of the government of a statement to be made in this House about this welcome augmentation of British military capability?
No, I have received no such indication, but I shall take that as a pre-Christmas point of order of the New Forest East genre, and we'll leave it at that for today. Can I just say, with reference to a point that has been made, and I'm grateful to the Leader of the House for this, that I should perhaps have reminded the House that a written ministerial statement is being made today on the subject of contaminated blood. I simply put that on the record. Point of order, Mr. Tom Watson.
Mr. Speaker, that same Cabinet Minister has also said the Prime Minister seeks to abolish the winter fuel allowance. Have you had a request for an emergency debate so that the position can be clarified in order to prevent millions of pensioners living in fear this winter?
No. Point of order, Gisela Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the 2nd of December, I asked the Secretary of State for Transport about winter tyres, and in his response he told me that we have looked at the issue, and in fact David Kwame addressed it and went on to say they would not be appropriate. When I raised this issue with him yesterday in column 1226, reminding him that A, I could find no reference in the Kwame report to winter tyres, nor was he accurate as the Highways Agency actually recommended them, he said, "I'm grateful to the Honourable Lady for giving me the opportunity to clear something up. I clearly mangled my words in my reply to her." Is it appropriate to describe something that was clearly misleading the House and he should have put the record right, as simply saying, "I mangled my words, the facts were wrong"?
I'm not sure that there is a misleading of the House involved, but the point has been made and the Leader of the House is on the Treasury bench and he will have heard what has been said, and if any message needs to be conveyed to the relevant Right Honourable Member, I feel confident that as a result of the efforts of the Honourable Lady it will be. Point of order. Point of order, Mr. Chris Bryant.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the 2nd of November, in replying to an urgent question on the matter of the rights of prisoners to vote, the Minister for Constitutional and Political Reform said that, that no decision had yet been made, but once a decision had been made, it would be announced in the usual manner, in his words, from the dispatch box. Now, in actual fact, it was announced last Friday, not even by a leak on this occasion, but by press release. Before it had been announced to Parliament, there was a written ministerial statement yesterday, but that's not at the dispatch box. Is there any means of making a government minister honour the commitment that he made to this House?
There is no means by which to compel or oblige a minister to follow through on the precise words or commitment previously uttered or given. How a statement is made or a decision announced by a minister is a matter for the minister. However, the honourable gentleman, who's a perspicacious parliamentarian, has drawn attention to what I would call the disparity between what was said on one occasion and what happened on another. Point of order, Diana R. Johnson.
To the point of order that I previously raised, and I note the comment that you then went on to make about the written ministerial statement today. Could I just confirm that that written ministerial statement is merely a holding response? It is not actually the statement that was promised by the Parliamentary Under Secretary of State?
I'm unsighted on that point, but what I would say in response to the Honourable Lady is that my additional observation about the written ministerial statement was intended to be helpful, but it wasn't intended to spark a further debate on this occasion. Says the Honourable Member for Rhondda. I'm glad that even in the approach to Christmas we can rely upon his running commentary, which is richly enjoyed.